Back here on Debrief, I'm Narit Ben, continuing the conversation with Tzur Goldin. His twin brother, Hadar, at the age of 23, was killed during the 2014 war between Israel and Hamas. Tzur, thank you for staying with us. So I want to go back for a moment to the fight to get him back from Israeli government and your personal experience, because you were fighting just 700 meters away from him, serving your mandatory military duty like so many Israeli citizens have to do, serving this government, the current government, and you are fighting for that same government to get your brother back. How does that situation, a very complicated situation, feel?
Well, firstly, as we are entering the Remembrance Day, Yom HaZikaron Klali here in Israel, we act like we think that Hadar should have wanted us to act, and we act by the values that we were educated by and that bring us all together as a society and give us the strength to recruit to the military and to serve our country in any mean. We believe that this is a moral issue, and and we fight. We consider our fight as a fight of values of not leaving a soldier behind, of values of letting every soldier who fights for Israel and in Israel has the solid belief that the country and government will do anything to recover him. This is what holds us up together as a society, the shared responsibility, the shared faith. We also believe that the bond of the families of Israel, that recruits the sons, and for Am Israel and the people of Israel is stronger than current leaders or leaders who misbehave, or leaders who act the courage to act by their values.
With that bond so close, and you bring up an important point that in Israel, when military service is mandatory for most people, there's a lot of closeness between citizens and the military. People normally feel very like it's their own sons. So why do you think the government has failed to bring Hadar back and Aron?
Well, actually, the government failed because they are paralyzed. Not because of the reality, not because they can or cannot do the measure that should be done. They're very simple, they're direct, there are very precise plans to do it, and they're not being done. They're not being done because of only one reason. The reason is fear. It's paralyzation after the deals that Prime Minister Netanyahu actually have done with Hamas by releasing Gilad Shalit, after we've seen the horrible sights of thousands of terrorists terrorists
over
of Hamas,
1,000 Palestinian prisoners released
who were released in exchange for Gilad, and they also took part in the operation and protective edge against us. And they are also Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, the president of the very leader of Hamas, who was responsible for the prisoners. Is now the leader of Hamas. He was the most senior prisoner who got released from that deal.
So what do you think about prisoner exchanges? Because you bring up a very, very controversial practice in Israel, one that's happened many times, as you mentioned, most recently with Gilad Shalit in 2011. Is that something you and your family would ever like to see happen, to bring Hadar back?
Of course, we wouldn't like that to see that to happen. We're saying the opposite. We're saying that rather than giving and paying prices to Hamas, and reacting to the language that Hamas sets to us, we need to bring to a situation where they pay the price, when it's a burden rather than an asset for them to hold a soldier who recruited to the IDF. And we want the complete opposite. We want to take measures that will pressure Hamas, cut up their funds, cut up their resources to recover, not hurt, not damage the society, the Palestinian citizens in Gaza. For all we're concerned, Gaza should be like Singapore, but they should meet the unconditional term of the humanitarian term. If they have their demands and they're serious in the situation of Gaza, they should meet the unconditional release of bringing Hadar and Aron home. And if they do not mean that, all the international community who understands the language of humanity, of humanitarian demands, who understand the language of fight against terrorism, should support this. This should be brought and be advocated towards all international leaders to join together and to pressure Hamas to meet this very simple humanitarian holy demand.
So during these 2 years and 9 months, your experience undoubtedly has been the farthest opposite from simple as one can be. Your twin brother. Tell me a little bit how you personally have gotten through that time period. What has helped you get through it?
Well, it was a very difficult situation. Also being, my mother calls it also being a family that lost my brother. We're also a captive family. We're captive in this mission, but all the time we're still in the grieving of Hadar. Hadar was an amazing human being. He was a spectacular, brilliant artist. He was very positive and optimistic. He had a very, very strong belief in the people of Israel and the Israeli mission, in the values and the moral values that we share as a nation. And he was also a very luminous instructor and a luminous commander. He was a very brilliant. He had very brilliant writings and songs and letterings and art pieces that are brought up all around, even the U.S., in exhibitions and all around the world. I miss him, and together we're missing him. I always feel that he is with us. We always try to act by his values and his belief in this country, his belief in our nation, the people of Israel, and our very solid justification of being here in this very small piece on earth gives us the strength to carry on, to do what we can.
Tzur Goldin, thank you very much for being here and sharing your personal story. We'll be right back.
Thank you very much.